I'm Nikki.
And I'm Jess.
She's the traumatized.
And she's the abandoned. And
welcome to our podcast, where we talk about true crime, spooky things, and everything in between.
And today is our part 2 of our chaotic chats. It's exciting.
Yeah. Apparently it was too long for one episode, so we're breaking it up into 2 parts, which is fine for us because that gets us ahead of schedule again.
It does. We planned this.
Totally.
No, I was like, you know when you go through the rough edit and it's still almost 2 hours.
So yikes. So
yeah.
Our intros.
But this one's going to be really fun.
Yeah, a very interesting case, and I guess we'll just jump right into it then, because
I mean, well, nothing really happened. Well, technically, nothing really happened. Wait, I have a fun fact of the day.
Oh yeah, fun fact of the day, and then we'll jump into part 2 of our chaotic chat.
Where's my jingle?
Oh, fun fact of the day.
Fun fact of the day. Did you know that your nose can remember up to 50,000 different smells?
That's insane. That's actually insane.
But I mean, you think about it, at least for me, if I smell something, it can like take me back somewhere.
Oh yeah,
like
for sure.
It definitely triggers like memories and stuff like that. Like, so I mean, it makes sense. It's so cool.
Definitely. Anywho.
But yeah, no chit chat. Right into the story because it's a beefy one.
Let's go. This next case is a doozy. This one definitely comes with trigger warnings.
Those are fun.
Okay, so how do I want to start this?
I don't know.
Okay, so even though this story has a major trigger warning, I think it brings up a very important topic, one that is still quite relevant, unfortunately, in today's society, and we'll talk about it at the end. However, Alexee Trevizo is a 19-year-old who was in her senior year of high school. The cheerleader from New Mexico went to the Artesia General Hospital emergency room on January 27th, 2023 for lower back pain. And what would happen next would be very shocking and tragic.
I've heard this one as well.
God damn it.
Okay, so I guess I am on the right side of TikTok. This is the bitch who like dumped her baby, right? She's like, I gotta get back to high school. I gotta go back to high school. Like, bitch, you ain't going to high school. You're going to jail. That bitch.
I don't think so.
So there were a couple circulating, but there was like one girl who was in like the hospital room. She's like, I gotta go back to 6th period. And the police officer was like, yeah, you're not going. There was also a bitch who killed, and I'm calling them a bitch because that's what they are. Drunk driving, and she killed 2 people.
Oh, I think I saw that one.
And she was in the hospital like, I gotta get home because I have school starting tomorrow. Like,
no,
she was in high school
going to school, ma'am.
And she was like, well, I have it was either homecoming or prom, or maybe I guess it was homecoming or something. She was like, I have a dance coming up, and the police officer's like, yeah, you just killed 2 people and you're worried about going to a dance.
Yeah,
she's obviously still drunk, but anyway,
I don't think this is the story that you've seen.
Good.
So
I like news stories.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Like I said, Alexee was from Artesia, New Mexico, which I guess is a small town. 1,200 people, I think they said. I don't remember, but that's not small. Anywho.
Small to some.
Small to some people, big to me. She lived with her mom and stepdad and her sister. She was on the varsity cheer team and had so many friends and a boyfriend of 3 years. I'm getting sassy.
Perfect.
I should probably stop getting sassy.
You're foreshadowing, ma'am.
It is said her and her mother, Rosa, were very close. However, it is also said that even though Alexee was 19 years old and an adult, like that's a grown adult, in her senior year of high school, she was treated like a child by her mother, which is like red flag number 1. But on January 26, 2023, so this is very fresh as well, Alexee came home from cheer practice and went to bed relatively early, but then she woke up from extreme pain she was having in her lower back. She then woke up her mother, and that's when they went to the ER. So with lower back pain, the doctor was concerned that she had maybe a urinary urinary tract infection, or maybe
like a kidney stone.
Yeah, or maybe something more serious that could be happening with her kidneys. They were very concerned. The doctor, of course, asked if she was pregnant, if there was any way that she could possibly be pregnant, as is typical when dealing with someone with female reproductive organs. That's like one of the first things they ask you: are you pregnant, or do you think you might be pregnant? Because that's important to know if they need to treat
Fun
you.
fact, my future mother-in-law is a nurse, and she was just complaining about this because she does procedures, and like they actually will make women take pregnancy tests. And did you know the average age for girls now to get their period is like 9 to 10 years old?
Ew.
Isn't that insane?
Stop.
So they have to ask like young girls to take pregnancy tests now.
That's crazy.
Disgusting. Yep.
Anywho, Alexee adamantly said no, she was still a virgin, which I'm sorry. You've had a boyfriend for 3 years now? Okay, sure.
I mean, how old is she?
19.
Oh, no. I was gonna say I was, but
Rosa was also in the room, her mother, obviously, and she was like, absolutely no way that my daughter could be pregnant. No way.
No, none.
However, the doctor did a pregnancy test anyways because they need to rule it out.
Good for her.
You know, before they got the results back of the pregnancy test, they did give her some medication, pain medication, and then about 45 minutes to an hour later, the pregnancy test came back positive.
Of course it did. Well, it's awkward.
At about 1:39 a.m., Alexee had an extreme urge to go to the bathroom. In hospital surveillance video, you can see Alexee running to the bathroom holding her butt.
Oh my God, she's having contractions.
A minute later, her mother comes to the bathroom door. Although Alexee never opened the door, they speak through it. It is unknown what they said, and Rosa ends up going back to the hospital room. 10 minutes later, her mother checked on her again and then just walked back to the hospital room. A nurse also kept checking on Alexee, and he didn't hear anything until after a while he began to hear repeatedly the paper towel dispenser going off, repeated flushing, and the water running. Eventually it got to a point where he told her she needed to come out, and he asked the CNA to get the extra key to unlock the door. And that's when Alexee finally opened the door and walked out without even saying anything. He went into the restroom and saw a large amount of blood on the floor and on the back wall behind the toilet, and some of it was smeared like she had tried to clean it up. The nurse asked what happened to Alexee, and she claimed that she was just on her period. For
is that like a normal amount for you?
You can kind of see it.
Jesus. Oh yeah, just
I know we are women, you and I personally have never
not that much
really bled like that.
Not that much. I mean, I okay, sorry, we can TMI this or cut it out or whatever. I have a heavy flow, not gonna lie. Not that much. Like maybe honestly, I think truly like the messiest is probably like a drop.
Yeah, when you're trying to like wipe or pull your
like
underwear up,
you're changing it and it might, but like, you're talking like a drop,
yeah,
not like a pool. It's not like a floodgate opens, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
that's not how that works. That's not right.
The nurse did look into the trash and saw only a fresh trash can liner, you know, the clear plastic ones. I mean, you can kind of see it in the picture. Now, there is quite a discrepancy on whether the hospital staff told Alexee and her mother about the positive pregnancy test before she went into the bathroom or after she went into the bathroom. Okay. And this is mainly due to the interviews being conducted 3 months after the incident occurred. Okay. So, you know, memories get kind of skewed and stuff like that. So we don't know if they were told before or after. Right. So I'm sure it'll come out in trial. Obviously, the staff did not believe her about the period thing.
Yeah, no medical professional is gonna believe that.
But they thought maybe she might have had a miscarriage or thought she might have done something to herself to cause the miscarriage. But what they discovered was not necessarily what they were expecting. Obviously, they had to call housekeeping and they told them, hey, we think a patient had a miscarriage in the bathroom. It's a mess. You to obviously clean it up because biohazard, you know, all that good stuff. So the cleaner came and went to start cleaning when she picked up the trash can and found that it was shockingly heavy for a trash can. So she called the CNA over saying that the basket is heavy, and the CNA came over, picked it up, and found that it was heavy, even though there looked like a fresh liner was in there. So she decided to pull the fresh liner out, and underneath the liner were a bunch of paper towels and a bunch of like the trash bag liners, but they were like scrunched up. You know, if you like take a bunch and just like scrunch it up and put it at the bottom. So she removed those as well to find a baby at the bottom of the trash can. Here's the insane part to me. The baby was wrapped in another trash can liner, and the top of the bag was twisted and tucked under, kind of like how you would do with like your bag of bread. When you open it, you twist it and tuck it under. That's when the CNA yelled for the charge nurse. The charge nurse came over, took the trash can into one of the trauma rooms, called the doctor, but unfortunately it was too late and the baby was passed. I do have hospital footage. I kind of just spliced it all together rather than like playing you the separate parts. Also, shout out to the YouTube channel 10 to Life. That's where I got like all the footage from because I couldn't find it separately anywhere else. I don't know where she gets her shit, so I'll just shout her out.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
So that's her running to the bathroom. So this is the nurse checking on her. That's the doctor that's on call in the ER. So this is them coming to clean it. Like the whole hospital staff were just like distraught.
I mean, how can you not be?
So yeah, obviously the hospital staff immediately called the police after finding the baby, and the police came and they were asked to be in the room with them when they told Rosa and Lexi about the baby. This case is so crazy to me.
Finally, we got her to open the door, and there was blood and shit everywhere. She was cleaning it up. So we took her back to the room, and I was afraid that she knew she was pregnant. She had done something to herself. So the doctor started doing a vaginal exam on her. We had the lady come to clean the bathroom. She put the baby in the trash can, and then she put another clean liner over the top of it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So when they looked in there, there was no trash in there, but it was underneath the clean bag. The baby's dead. Okay, we have him in trauma too, but she killed the kid.
Yeah. How old was the baby?
I don't know. It's full term. She just had it. She had it in the bathroom. Was what happened, and then whatever she did, I don't know. She's gonna lie. She wouldn't even tell us she's pregnant. She's been lying the whole time.
Okay.
So that's what's going on. I just pulled the doctor out of the room.
Do you think she didn't know?
So nothing's been said to the patient or the
Yeah.
mother that's in there yet.
Some people don't know.
I have Leela, the housekeeper, if you want to interview her.
Yeah.
She's the one that kind of
Yeah.
found under
Yeah,
the
because I
trash.
wanted to get with you guys first and then get with her
Right.
to get her statement before I even did anything.
Well, I'm the charge, and this is what has happened.
Okay.
You can interview the nurse that had her,
Okay.
the two nurses that were taking care of her. You can talk to the tech, which is Lori, she's the one that went in there and actually found it, because Lito's like, this is really heavy.
Okay.
So then Lori went in there, and then of course the baby was underneath the clean liner.
Okay, yeah, if we can speak with Lori. that
Okay,
way
I'll
her
get
statement,
Lori
then
and
I'll
I'll
get
get
you-
Lito.
I'll get you checked
So,
this out.
officer, so he's the first thing though is I need to make sure that the mother, the woman who delivered the baby, is medically stable.
Mhm.
I don't know if she's delivered a placenta. She's bleeding a lot. I just got her accepted to Loveless. So how I need to tell her what's going on, and I need to tell the mother what's going. The mother, they're both in there together. Is one of you willing to be present for that conversation?
And I'll go in there.
Are you guys going?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
go
for
right
sure.
now. And do it. I'm sorry. We discovered a dead baby in the bathroom.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. It came out of me and I didn't know what to do.
Lexi, I told you about this.
But it
I just asked you, baby, to tell me the truth.
scared. It was not crying or nothing.
What did you do to it?
Okay, stop right here.
I just
Stop,
put
stop.
it in.
Number one priority, guys. Number one priority is she just had a baby. I don't know if she's delivered the placenta. She's bleeding significantly.
Yeah.
I've spoken to the obstetrician at Loveless. They want her up there as soon as possible.
Okay.
I need your permission to transfer her for medicals. She needs to
She's
be med-
19.
Oh, you're right.
But she is a student too.
She's
No,
still
no,
19
you're
years old.
right. You're right. She needs to. I'm sorry, I forgot she's
A
19.
lot came out of me.
But you need to make sure that you're safe. I need to send you to Loveless to labor delivery. Will you please agree to that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. I'm gonna work on that. In terms, I'm sorry about this, but in terms of delivering a baby and it looked like you tried to hide it, we do have to have the police involved.
And nothing was crying. It came out with nothing.
I know. But the baby's gonna have to be taken for autopsy and there'll be an investigator and everything. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But we need to do this correctly. And I want to be transparent with you about what our steps are gonna be.
Do you guys have, I'm the charge nurse here, do you guys have any questions for me?
Like how big is the baby?
It's full term.
What?
9 months?
Nothing was crying.
Lexi, have you watched the news of the girls that what they do to their babies and what they go to jail?
Nothing was crying.
The way that she calls the baby nothing. Nothing was crying. Crazy.
Yeah, I feel like she's just like
So
I can't. Go ahead.
yeah. No. Go, say what you need to say.
Because my initial feeling is that she was terrified. The girl. I'm not giving her what she did was fucked up and it's wrong. I think there's a huge stigmatism of sexual education, of not being educated and not feeling like you can ask for help.
Yeah.
When you fucked up, I think my generation and every generation, I think we're very scared of being like, yo, I fucked up, I need help. Instead, it's more of like a hide it and hope it doesn't ever come out situation. And I feel like her mom's reaction to that is very telling. It
of
wasn't
their family dynamic and
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was very like, how could you do this to us? You're going to go to jail. Not like, are you okay? Like, it wasn't supportive. I realized that what she did was fucked up, but there wasn't any sort of support. It was very blaming and to a point, rightfully so. But I feel like this is very like, I don't know their family dynamic. I knew mine.
Well, yeah, because I mean, if you want to say it now, or we can save it to the end. Like this is like the discussion we were gonna have at the end about stuff.
But yeah, so I just my initial reaction is
So
that
you
girl
picked
is
up
terrified.
you picked up the same vibes that I picked up from the mom and daughter.
She is
duo.
terrified. And again, I'm not giving that an excuse, but that girl was just absolutely fucking terrified. Had no idea what to do, and she panicked.
Of her mother. She's terrified of her mother.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Alexee gave birth to a full-term baby and hid it in the trash. One of the major questions is, how did anyone not know she was pregnant?
I mean, dude, there is a fucking show about that.
Jess.
There's a show about I did not know I was pregnant.
Look, you can tell.
Oh.
You can tell.
Oh. They just think she was gaining weight?
I guess.
Oh. You could definitely tell. Oh. Well.
She doesn't have any weight anywhere else but
Anywhere
that
else.
section of her body.
Wow.
And it's so telling of these people. Like, neither of them asked about the baby. Nobody was concerned about the baby. Like, her mom immediately was like, Alexee, you're gonna be in so much trouble. I didn't keep this in, but like, so that's the father. Like, the police detective comes and talks to them in the waiting room, and not a single one of those people asked about the baby at all.
No, they're too worried about themselves.
It's crazy to me. While her mother may treat her like a child, Alexee was an adult. She's literally 19 years old.
Notice the doctor forgot.
Yeah.
The doctor forgot
That's
how old
what's
she was
insane
because
to
of how.
me. Maybe
But you
she's
think about it.
maybe she's mentally not that old.
Well, you think about it. You have a mother figure, and my mom would do it to me too. So she would go to the doctor and then talk to the doctor for me, even when I was like 18, 19 years old. And she would tell the
Crazy.
doctor things. So in the doctor's eyes now, they're seeing, okay, parent-child. And as a
Right.
parent-child relationship, you're a child. So like, I get that. Like, that's also very telling
Yeah.
of the situation where the doctor forgot that the daughter was of legal age because her
Mhm.
parent was probably the one talking.
Right.
And yeah.
Here's the thing. She's an adult. She consented
Yep.
to having sex. She got pregnant.
Yep.
She delivered this baby silently, may I add you, in the bathroom. How in the world she delivered this baby silently?
Yo, some
is
pregnant
crazy
people.
to me.
So listen, she's young. She's obviously was healthy in shape. Some people have pregnancies where they just like, that's a whole thing of what to expect when expecting, how there's like a
Yeah.
whole scale. Some people like sneeze and pop out the baby because they're having contraction. Like
Right.
that. I know it's kind of dramatic, but seriously, like, I'm not saying she wasn't in any pain, but it probably felt like period cramps. And she was like,
I
well,
mean-
there's the baby. I mean, if she came in thinking she was having gas pain, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Unless she was honestly just in complete denial and she thought she was gaining weight. Like, that's the other thing. There's always that, like, she could be, people truly just completely denial.
Right.
And, you know, that might be what was happening. I don't know.
Anywho, so she delivered this baby and then she threw it in the trash. That's the choice
Oof.
she decided
Yeah.
to make in that bathroom. So there's
Yeah.
absolutely no excuse, in my opinion.
No.
Alexee was transferred to Lovelace Hospital in Roswell and was later discharged. She did not deliver the placenta at that hospital either, so it is assumed that she flushed it down the toilet. There was a comment made by one of the hospital staff members of what the umbilical cord looked like because, you know, you got to cut an umbilical cord. An umbilical cord is not easy to cut through. And she described the umbilical cord as being shredded, like ripped apart like an animal. Horrifying. Just fucking, I know. But also, how did she know to cut the umbilical, you know, how to like
Well, it's still
separate the
connected
umbilical
to her.
cord?
She was probably trying to
like,
rip it apart.
maybe. I don't know. It's crazy. Then after Alexee was released from the hospital, she went back home and she went back to normal, living life like nothing ever happened. She even went to prom with her boyfriend. How sweet, right? It's a cute couple.
Ew.
Records indicate police attempted to speak with Alexee on January 31st, 4 days after the incident. And then again, they tried to speak to her on April 26th. They approached her at school, but she refused to speak to them. So there was this whole thing where the detective was trying to speak to her, but she wouldn't speak to him. Like, literally all she needed to say is, I want a lawyer present. And that would have like completely shut down the detective. But like, she wouldn't say that. So like, he was having to chase this family around because they wouldn't say that. And then like, finally he called the mom and he was like, I need to talk to Alexee. And she's like, she's not going to talk to you without a lawyer. And he's like, I need to hear that from her. And she's like, she's not going to talk to you without a lawyer. He's like, I understand that she doesn't want to talk to me without a lawyer. I need to hear that physically in person
Come out of
from
her
mouth.
Mm-hmm.
From her mouth, not your
Yeah, but you
mouth.
see,
She is a
but-
grown adult.
But mom is stepping in. So that's the whole thing. Like, mom stepping in and being like, no, I'm gonna take over this. So that, again, that's very fucking telling. It's just like they're not actually allowing her to deal with her own consequences, her own action. Mommy's taking care of it.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a whole thing. Anyways, she obviously refused to speak to detectives at that point.
Right.
So now we get to the autopsy report. According to the autopsy findings, there was no physical abnormalities or injuries detected in the newborn at birth. The examination indicated the presence of air in the lungs and stomach, suggesting that the baby was born alive following a complete 38 weeks of pregnancy.
Ooh.
As per the postpartum examination conducted by the medical investigator, the cause of death was determined to be entrapment. According to the report, entrapment refers to a situation where the individual is placed within a sealed or partially sealed container, such as a tightly tied plastic trash bag, and utilizes all available oxygen until there is an insufficient amount to support life. Artesia Police Department detectives presented case information to the 5th Judicial District Attorney's Office on March 28, 2023. A criminal complaint was approved on May 10th, 2023, and formal charges were filed on the suspect and the mother of the victim, cops said. As police phrased it, Trevizo Alexee is charged with first-degree murder or alternatively intentional abuse of a child resulting in death, plus a count of tampering with evidence. The above-named defendants did kill John Doe, a human being, without awful justification or excuse, the complaint said, alleging that Alexee did knowingly, intentionally, or negligently, and without justifiable cause or permit John Doe, a child, to be placed in a situation that endangered or might have endangered John Doe's life or health, and the abuse resulted in the death of John Doe. I have one more video.
Oh, goody.
I hate this mother. I hate her so much.
The mother or the mother's mother?
The grandma.
This is my house. I have a right to see the warrant.
I'm letting you know she has a warrant for her arrest. We don't have a search warrant for your house. We have a warrant for her arrest.
Okay, can we see the warrant?
Yeah, once we.
She gets a copy of it.
Can I go up there when you take her up there?
It's
Okay,
for-
so what is she under arrest for?
She's over 18. She's got a copy.
I understand that,
Right.
Detective Gonzalez.
Right.
What is she under arrest for?
She has a warrant for arrest. Okay?
For what?
That's all I'm going to tell you. Okay?
What do you mean that's all you're going to tell me?
She's over the age of 18.
I understand that, but I have a right to know as well.
We'll tell you that.
Okay, let me know now. Let me know now. I'm giving you the corporation. I told you answer my question. What is she under arrest for?
Like I said, she's over the age of 18. Like, that's not, that is, that we can't really put that. Bring her out here.
What is she under arrest
Bring her out here,
for?
we'll tell you right
No, I'm not bringing her out here yet. Let me know what she's under
gonna
arrest
get
for.
arrested.
For what? For what?
Bitch, you know.
For what?
Bitch, you know.
Tell me.
Homicide. Open count of homicide. And tampering with evidence.
Tampering with evidence?
Yes.
At the hospital?
But like the whole thing, like he says she's charged with homicide and the mother is focused on tampering with evidence at the hospital. Did you not hear the first part? Homicide,
No.
your murder, your daughter is going to jail for murder.
Well, tampering with evidence
Hello?
because she hid the body.
Like, that's not the reaction, ma'am. That's not the reaction.
Well,
that you should-
her whole reaction wasn't the reaction. I mean,
like, damn. I know. So Alexee was arrested at her home. She was released on May 16th on a $100,000 unsecured bond with conditions of a 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. curfew, no drugs, alcohol, or possession of firearms. Typical bond things. School officials did allow her to graduate, but she wasn't allowed to walk in the graduation ceremonies. Her trial on the criminal charges is scheduled for February 2024.
Why so far away?
Probably
Huh.
so they can gather evidence and stuff. And, she might have waived her right because there was an article from June that said it was to start in October, but then she probably waived her right for a speedy trial to allow her lawyers to do more stuff. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, good luck.
So
Y'all need all the time you can get because, oof.
However, if you think that this is where this case kind of wraps up for now, you are insanely mistaken.
I'm nauseous. What?
Because the biggest twist in this case happened when Alexee filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the hospital.
Ooh, that's interesting. Ooh, what? How? What? Where?
Exactly. Like, what? So, like, oh my God. When this information came out, I was like, what? Again, your reaction. So the lawsuit was filed on July 31st in San Miguel County and it establishes a timeline of events at the hospital in which I'll summarize. So this is, I'm assuming, what Alexee says happens at the hospital. Now,
I'm so ready for this.
so between 12:18 a.m. and 12:28 a.m., Alexee was given multiple medications, including morphine. This is the same time that the lab orders were submitted. So this is when they did the pregnancy test and stuff.
Gotcha.
12:51 a.m. is when the pregnancy results were sent back to the doctors and nurses of a positive pregnancy. At 1:39 a.m. is when Alexee went into that bathroom, and then she leaves the bathroom at 1:57 a.m. Then at 2:38 a.m. is when the baby is pronounced dead.
Okay.
So a toxicology report obtained by Court TV indicates that the infant did have morphine and other drugs in its system because they gave her medication, like I said, before they got the pregnancy test back.
Right.
The medical examiner's report dated January 27 lists the infant's cause of death as entrapment and the manner of death as homicide. The toxicology report performed later on the infant's body revealed several drugs in its system, including the morphine. Now, Trevizo's attorney, so Alexee's attorney, Gary Mitchell, said that the morphine was likely a contributing factor to the infant's death and that the drug was administered by the hospital after her arrival to the emergency room. So basically, they're trying to spin this on the fact that she was given morphine. Mitchell has emphasized, the lawyer, has emphasized the failure of the hospital and its medical professionals to respond to the positive pregnancy test within a reasonable period of time. So, yeah, I think this is a quote from him. A fact that's critical in this case, the hospital began administering morphine, a painkiller, and other painkillers to her for her back pain and abdominal pain within 20 minutes after she was in the hospital, Mitchell said. And then they didn't stop administering that even though they knew that she was pregnant. They were administering that in an IV. Now, it is important to note that the information was sent to their computer. If they saw it on their computer or not in a timely fashion, that's a different story. You know what I mean?
But she straight up lied to them. She lied to her medical professionals, and that's why they put her on morphine.
Yeah.
How is that falling on the medical professionals at all? You lied to them.
Exactly. Like, this is why it's so fucking crazy. Like I don't, I mean, I guess I kind of see the move from like the defense side of like just throwing this out there and hopefully it sticks. But like, dude, come on.
I mean, honestly, it could just be like their Hail Mary. They have nothing left. So it's like trying to like.
They have nothing in the first place.
They have nothing. They have nothing. So they're just trying to figure out something.
So the medical examiner's report said that the baby died shortly after its birth and that air was found in its lungs and stomach is consistent with the baby having been born alive. Mitchell said, more likely than not, the child may have taken a breath or two, but the morphine was a critical problem for this child. Mitchell maintains that the child was not born alive and certainly did not breathe properly.
I mean, mean, if there wasn't any crying, that's like a whole thing. They didn't hear a baby cry. Again, I'm not saying it's okay that but this is morbid as
I don't
fuck.
know.
As soon as she has the baby, she throws it in the trash can or trash bag and wraps it up. It's not gonna cry.
Yeah. So the lawsuit, which lists attorney Arthur Bustos as the plaintiff on behalf of the infant's estate, also faults the hospital and its administrators for violating HIPAA laws.
Go on.
That's just all it says.
What do you mean?
Oh,
What HIPAA
okay. So
laws?
hold on. The suit claims that the hospital was wrong to allow officers to use lapel cameras to record interviews in the hospital where they asked questions of Alexee and her mother that are protected by HIPAA laws and by the New Mexico Constitution laws, rules, statutes, and regulations.
Interesting.
But I think that's going to come down to like, we have a dead baby. That's a crime scene. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this is a very fine line. In the suit, the attorneys say that the videos, as well as medical records and lab results, should never have been released to the public. So they're saying that none of the interviews, hospital videos, and medical records should have been released.
But it is a crime scene.
It's an investigation case, and
right.
I don't know if like once it becomes like a criminal case, if HIPAA just like does not apply anymore, because now it's in the police's hand, and now with the Freedom of Speech Act or whatever, you can gain from the police those you know what I mean? So it's like it's gonna be interesting how this case unfolds.
HIPAA versus
Freedom of
information.
Freedom of information, yeah.
FERPA. FERPA and HIPAA can never apply to the same records at the same time. FERPA and California medical confidential laws can apply to the same records at the same time.
So that's what I'm thinking. So like it was HIPAA as she was at the hospital. As it became a criminal case, a criminal investigation, those records went to the police, and now it's under FERPA and not HIPAA anymore.
This says, though, the HIPAA privacy rules specifically exclude from its coverage those records that are protected by FERPA.
What does that mean?
Meaning that if it's protected under HIPAA, that they can't bring it to a criminal case.
So I think that's true on actual medical records. However, the police interviews and the hospital surveillance video do not fall under HIPAA, right?
HIPAA. That's going to be very interesting.
Of the staff at the hospital and of the family members, that's not HIPAA.
No.
That's not, they're not talking about medical care. They're talking about
I think it'll be
that's being committed.
I think it'll be really interesting because if the defense attorney brings up the morphine, that's an open door policy then. And
what
then
does morphine do to a baby?
It makes me do a lot of Googling.
Well, you're the one with 3
I'm
screens.
using my 3 screens.
I don't have that liberty.
Hold on. Fetus, I guess, at that point, because it's still inside.
Well, no, it was a baby. I mean, technically, the morphine was in the baby after it was born, too.
Unborn babies.
Yeah.
Poor growth of the baby, stillbirth, preterm delivery, or the need for a C-section.
Does it state how long? Because it was only, 20 minutes that she was given the morphine?
And morphine can easily pass through the placental barrier and reach the embryo. So, I mean, it's not great for him.
It's not great, but it's not like they were giving it to her over like an hour or like a couple hours. It was like 20 to 50 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Because they were in the lawsuit, it says between 12:18 and 12:28 was given the medications, and then 1:39. So I guess it would be like an hour and a half is the time that she was given pain meds through an IV.
Yeah.
So how? I guess we don't know how much was necessarily given to her,
right?
And I'm sure that'll all come out in the trials. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah,
the information that comes out.
Well, we'll watch it together.
Yeah, yeah. I hope this is one of the cases that's kind of televised because I really want to know what happens.
Yeah.
So outro of this kind of went into it at the beginning, but unfortunately, this case is like a prime example of something that happens all the time in America, whether it's because there's little to no education or because of religious reasons, and young girls hide their pregnancies until it's too late. And one thing the charge nurse kept saying in his interview, which is deeply upsetting, but he kept saying that Alexee never gave him the chance to save the baby. Like, I never had a chance to save him. Like, he didn't have a chance. And the hospital where she was at was a safe haven hospital. I think that's what they're called, which is a place where you can drop off a baby, no questions asked. You can just leave it and go. That's the crazy thing. Like, yeah, I think this is an important conversation that everyone should have. You know, teenagers are going to do what teenagers are going to do. And it's important that they have the information and the education to know how to have sex safely and know what the consequences are that happens if you aren't having safe sex. And I think this is really interesting because both of us have very different growing up styles. That's why I thought this discussion could be interesting, because my school, 9th grade, it was mandatory to take child development classes. And I mean, we didn't necessarily have sex education, but this is kind of like what that was. And we had to, I don't think we had the fake baby and everything, but we definitely had to learn how the baby grows inside, how it grows outside, like how it develops mentally and stuff, and what happens when it's not healthy.
Right. I mean, I think a lot of it though is still fear-based. Like, I think it's like, don't have sex. You can sexually transmitted disease are bad. I'm gay. Like, you'll get a baby. Like, am I saying that when I have a 16-year-old daughter, I want her having sex? Absolutely not.
Absolutely
but I don't think it should be a fear-based thing. I think it should be an experience of when you do have sex with someone, you attach yourself to them. It is not, I am not a person who can detach myself like that. If you do have sex with someone, like, I'm attached to them. And I remember every single person. And like, do I wish that I had waited a little? Like, you know, I had bad experiences and they weren't worth it. And that's kind of what I would not preach, but like teach. Of like, if you're gonna do it, make sure you're ready, because you can't take it back. It's not something you can redo, and you want to make sure that that person genuinely fucking cares about you.
Let's be honest, purity culture is toxic, and I think it does a lot more damage than it does any good.
Absolutely, because I think if you're more informed,
more informed, then you have the capacity to make the right decision for you. Like for me, I was, fully informed, and I waited until I was 18, 19. I don't remember, but I was older when I
was insane. No, I think I was 18. So
because I was fully informed. I knew my choices. I don't understand the whole the fear, the shaming.
Because here's the thing, I never want my child to be scared to come up to me and be like, I messed up, I need help.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
Like, I never, or like, hey, I have a question and I'm kind of embarrassed about it, but I need your help. Like, I want to have an open conversation with my kids. I don't want them scared of me. Like, I don't want them like, there's a difference between them wanting to like make me proud and they don't want to disappoint me versus actually being terrified to tell me something. Yeah, I might be a little disappointed, but you know what, I still love you, and we're gonna work through this and we're gonna figure it out, and it's gonna be okay.
And there's so many choices, like adoption. I mean, like I said, the safe haven hospital, just leave it there. You can leave it baby at a fire station and they'll take care of it. They'll find the proper authorities to
like
do
figure
its
it
next.
out.
Like, also, like, if you messed up, have a baby. But also, I feel like purity culture also puts a lot of shame into something that's natural, that everybody does it. Everybody's gonna do it, and it's not something you should be ashamed of for the rest of your life. And I feel like it causes a lot of unhealthy sexual habits in the future, rather than having a healthy relationship with sex. I mean, we've seen it with tons of our friends that they don't have a healthy relationship because of the way they've grown up.
They were shamed into it. And I mean, I do think honestly a lot of like, I get shamed for this too, my very religious people ever heard me say it, but I feel like the Bible is genuinely just a bunch of stories telling us how to be decent human beings. Hey, don't kill people, don't lie, because then people won't trust you. You shouldn't cheat on a significant other because they'll never trust you again. I think people take it to the extreme. Here's the thing, he says, like, only sleep with your husband or wife, and I think that's kind of I think you should really only sleep with someone who again, I can't sleep with someone and not get attached, so I know that about myself, so I'm not going to sleep around. And for me, it's like I only commit myself to someone who I can really see as a future, because I do think you connect to those people that you have that relationship with. That's how I plan on teaching it. It's just like, make sure you're ready. Let's talk about it. Let's figure out, why is this person really, do you see yourself in the future with them? You know what I mean? Like, purity is definitely like, fuck it, dude. I had a purity ring. Gross. I did a whole weekend trip.
A weekend
what
trip?
was it?
Purity?
Oh my God. I can't remember what it was called, but my parents took me to this hotel. We like had a water balloon and like had a little safety pin every time you had sex. It would be a safety pin. And eventually it would pop, which I don't know what that.
What's that mean? What does that mean?
Like every time you would like poke a hole in the water balloon, you would like your purity would leak out, and then eventually it just bursts. And I'm like, and I was like 13, by the way.
That
with
makes
this.
no sense.
But it really it is. It's this like fear of, you know, giving your purity away, and I don't think it should be fear based. I think it should be fact based. Listen, you think you're old enough to have sex, you're old enough to deal with those consequences.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That's the end of it. Like, all right, if you think you're ready to do this, then you better be damn safe, because if you get pregnant, like that's your baby. Like that's your responsibility. So you gotta deal with it.
Yepers.
Whole other topic. It's a hot topic.
Yeah.
Is certain people think it's okay to have a baby and then abort it. That's murder to me. If you've carried that baby full term, you push it out of you, and then you that's all. That's a whole
you're
hot
talking
topic.
about that.
Abortion. Yeah, abortion laws. Like I feel like there's a line there too.
No,
Like
there. Yeah, I mean.
That's a whole hot topic.
That's something we don't agree on.
I know.
I mean, I do agree. Like obviously there's limits to when abortion should happen.
Absolutely.
But I do believe every woman deserves that right to choose.
I think
And
I do.
I don't think
No, I
women should
agree.
be. I don't think women should be forced to have a baby that they can't afford to feed.
I 100% agree with you on that. I do. I think there are limits. I think it's like first trimester. And then, you know.
I mean, that's basically supposed to be it, right? That's the first trimester.
I think people are pushing it, though. Because basically, I'm on the same line where it's just like, it's your body, your choice. I will never get an abortion. That's just my personal choice.
Same.
But
that's also,
and I don't like judge people who do, because I've known plenty of people who have. And I know they were not in a good situation, and that was their choice. But I also think there should be limitations on it, like to the where it's like if you're carrying and you're like at some point it does become morally not okay for me.
Yeah. But I mean,
you know, there's exceptions. Like, I
mean, also you're talking about one extreme, and then I was talking about another extreme to the fact where now doctors are scared to perform life-saving abortions, that women are now having sepsis and now can never have a baby again because they needed treatment that they were refused. So like,
there's definitely, I think like, that's what's great about our relationship, is because we're somewhere in the middle. Like we are. There's some things we don't necessarily fully agree on, mountains, but but genuinely I feel like we do have a very strong moral center where we can kind of like,
I think for me, like the whole like abortion thing, like the Roe versus Wade, how extreme it got so quickly.
Right.
Like you said, you know, there should be
some
limits,
sort of
time
guidelines,
limits,
both
but at
ways.
the same time, like the other way too, like there were those poor women that can never have children again, because
that should never be a question of saving a woman's life. Period. I mean, that's even full term. Like if it's a choice between a mom and a baby, I'm 1,000% like, you got to save the mom.
Yeah, like it's just so crazy how
it should always be the mom's choice.
Yeah, how extremes the spectrum got.
Yeah,
that's so crazy.
Anyway, so off our soapbox.
Off our topic. Anyways, purity culture is topic. I mean, you guys can agree or disagree with us, I think, but I think
if you do, let us know.
I think it's important that your children should be well educated on the subject, so that because this shit happens all the time. This is not the first case. This is probably not the first case this year.
No,
like. Teen moms
I told you. I told you that was not the case that I saw where she killed her baby. So it wasn't the first case this year. That's at least the second.
Like, it's an important
I just
topic.
think people are so scared.
Talk to your kids. Like, sex is not scary. Everyone does it. I mean, not everyone. Those who are asexual and don't like it, but I mean, those who do like it.
Right. It's not something as taboo as it should be. And let me tell you what.
Animals do it. Like, everyone does it. We all know everyone does sex. Like, it's a natural
they do the sex
thing. They do the sex. It's a natural thing. I don't understand why we act like it's not natural. Like it's like
very taboo.
Like you're preaching to your kids, hey, don't have sex, and then turn around 30 minutes later, you and your husband are humping in the back. Like,
yeah,
it's so fucked. Like, and then like
Yeah.
I feel so bad for all the young girls who get married and they don't know what to do on their wedding night, or because they've never talked about it, and then those end up being those are usually like abusive relationships that they end up in.
I know
And-
someone who literally exactly what happened is they saved themselves to marriage and didn't know what to expect. And so they started, having sex in marriage and realized years later, oh, it's not supposed to hurt.
No. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, they didn't know.
Crazy. That's it.
Wow. Great chaotic chat. Very chaotic. Very
sorry.
up to date.
Let us know what you guys think about those cases.
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts.
I don't know how to end that. Okay, anyways, that's it for this episode, guys. If you enjoyed the podcast, don't forget to follow us, leave a comment. You're watching on YouTube. Hi, like and subscribe, please. We love new subscribers.
You can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok with our username at TTATA Podcast. And in the bio of all of our social media is our link tree, which has our email. If you have any questions, concerns, topic ideas, hit us up. Let us know.
Thanks for listening. Next week, we're going to be covering abandoned places, guys.
Woot, woot.
Back at the top this time. I always say back at the top. We actually are back at the top. So I'm
top
excited.
of the rotation. No idea what to do, but it's
me
fine.
neither. No topics are down. I was looking. I was like, well, this will be fun. I'll find one. And with that, we are going to leave you with this inspirational quote.
I just want you to know that if you are out there and you are being really hard on yourself right now for something that has happened, it's normal. That is what is going to happen to you in life. No one gets through unscathed. We are all going to have a few scratches on us. Please be kind to yourselves and stand up for yourself. Please. Taylor Swift.
Oh, T Swifts. Any Swifties out there? That's so true, though. Like, be kind to yourself, guys. You're doing the best you can. Like, don't be so hard on yourself.
Stand up for yourself to a fucking overbearing mother that fucking treats you like a child, even though you're adult.
Yo, I tell you, I'm not even lying. I remember a very specific time and she like freaked out, but it made me freak out. And then I realized it was at that point when I realized what she had done my entire life was basically freak me out so that I was relying on her.
Yeah. So I think that is also another issue in this case. I don't think mentally Alexee was her age.
I don't think you are able to grow up until you leave that environment.
Yeah. Because God, the way that mother, God.
Yep. You trigger warned me about the baby, not about.
I forgot. Maybe I should have trigger warned you about the mother.
The mother was just like, "Yep, that's it. That's right there." Anyways,
so gross.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Until next time.
Bye. Bye.